I'd like to call the Monday, September 28th, 2020 meeting of the Goldsboro Planning Commission to order at this time. First item on the agenda for this evening will be approval of minutes for the August 31st, 2020 meeting. If I could have a motion to that effect, please.
I move that we accept the minutes.
And I second it.
Mr. Waters makes a motion to accept the minutes as presented by staff for approval. That's seconded by Mr. Slater. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion carries. The minutes are approved. We have a couple items on the agenda this evening that will be presented by our Assistant Planning Director, Mr. Talbot.
Good evening, gentlemen. Let's see. Before I go start off into our rezoning request, I wanted to give you a little bit of information about what is going on in the world of land development regulations. I'm not going to take too much thunder from Jennifer because I know that she's going to want to talk to you about this in detail as we get closer to a time frame. But in 2019, the General Assembly adopted a complete reorganization of the state's planning and development regulation statutes and named it Chapter 160D, D as in dog. To conform to this new regulatory and statutory framework, every city and county development regulation in the state of North Carolina will need to be updated by August of 2021. Procedures for ordinance adoption, administration, and enforcement have been consolidated into one uniform set of development regulations. And simply put, when it comes to cities and counties across North Carolina, everybody has a different way of doing things when it comes to their planning commissions, their board of adjustments, and even their town councils when it comes to making decisions. And so anyway, to minimize confusion and chaos, I think everybody has recruited the efforts of the Institute of Government, and they have come up with a new enabling statute, again called Chapter 160D. You're going to hear more about it. But tonight, what we're going to be doing in order to get out in front of the curve, the city planning is in the process of updating our zoning codes, incorporating the elements of Chapter 160D. And as we speak, consultants are being sought to assist us in rewriting our ordinances to reflect those changes in land development laws. So tonight we're going to be reviewing 2 rezoning requests with associated site-specific plans. Simply speaking, one request involves a legislative rezoning decision, which focuses on policy changes, and the other is a quasi-judicial decision, which focuses on evidence and fact-finding. But I'm not going to get too far in the weeds with this, but again, as you will follow with me, again, we're going to, for the sake of abiding by these new laws, we're going to separate the rezoning request and the actual associated site plan as we go through these decision-making processes, because if you remember, in the past, we've always combined them into one. Well, not anymore. In the future, by August of 2021, no longer can municipalities or counties do that. You have to separate the 2 processes. So, if you will, I'll go ahead first and talk about our first rezoning request with an associated site plan. This will be Z420 606 North Berkeley Avenue, Boulevard, I'm sorry.
Kenny.
Yes, sir.
So does that, on this particular matter before us then, does that just mean that we'll hear both items and then we'll just make 2 votes instead of 1 vote?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is exactly right.
Yeah, just general question then, because we don't want to get too far in the weeds with it.
Sure.
Is what we're already doing pretty close to what you see for the new changes? I mean, obviously, there's gonna be a couple of things like that, but, I mean, I would like to think that the city and our most recent UDO and the way we do things here is pretty good.
Yes, sir, for the most part it is. It's right in line. You're just talking about differences in terminology, definitions, and little tweaks like we're talking about
Right.
tonight in the approval processes.
Well, I think that that's probably a good thing, particularly as we try to be business-friendly and we try to make our departments business-friendly, particularly in the world that we live in now, and you have developers, particularly that are developing, for a national, maybe a national company or a chain or whatever, that makes it easier for them to do business when it comes to site plans, rezones, this, that, and the other. If they're erecting, if they're putting 4X stores up in 4 different towns, it certainly would be easier on their end to know that the process is the same in all 4 towns and make things streamlined. So I think that's a good thing, and it's also good news to hear that we're pretty close to where we need to be on things as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're exactly right, Chairman. Again, if you could be nice if you could do that in the building inspection world as well.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you have contractors, developers coming in, and every place does it differently. And like I said, there's just I think the state of North Carolina is doing a really good effort just with city planning and land development laws and trying to get everybody on one page to address those issues of concern that you just brought up. That's exactly right.
Excellent. Okay.
All righty. Any other questions? All right.
Good.
This is a rezoning request by Durbin Development to rezone a piece of property along North Berkeley Boulevard from Office and Institutional 1 Conditional District to General Business. The applicant requests to rezone the property from Office and Institutional Conditional District to General Business in order to operate an automobile service center. The subject property existed prior to the adoption of the Unified Development Code and operated as a professional office. The use of the property has not changed since that time. The existing use, the subject property is currently occupied by a single-story brick veneer commercial building of approximately 1,300 square feet and formerly operated as an insurance office. The applicant proposes to rezone property from Office and Institutional Conditional District to General Business and, if approved, demolish the existing building and develop the property for an automobile service center specializing in drive-through oil changes. Separate site plan approval will be required in accordance with the city's UDO. The comprehensive plan, the city's updated comprehensive land use plan designates the property for commercial use. The proposed use is consistent with the city's comp plan. The property is not located in a special flood hazard area. City water and sewer are available to serve the property. At the public hearing on September 21st, 2020, the applicant's representative came forward to speak in favor of the request, and no one appeared to speak against the request. Let's see here. And there's the site off of Langston and North Berkeley. Comp plan being commercial. We'll keep back to the zoning. Again, these will be 2 separate requests, and so we will, if you'd like, Chairman, I don't see any problem if you wanted to take them separately, or we'll go on to the site plan, associated site plan, and then you can vote on the 2 separately if you decide to do so.
Whatever works for staff is perfectly okay with me, speaking for the board. I do have one question related to the rezone before we move to the site plan.
Yes, sir.
I know we've been very careful at that intersection in times past with zoning. And I know that the GB that we've done at that area has been GB conditional district. Why are we not looking at conditional district for this particular parcel, irregardless of site plan? Because if the use change or the business ceased, then we're looking at a unrestricted GB property.
That is a good point, and that's something that as we are beginning to see the effects of Chapter 160D, most of the time, I know what you're used to as this planning commission. A lot of times you can have in the past, we have had properties that have been requested a rezone to a general use with no conditional district, but they also had a site-specific plan that was presented with them. The only answer I can tell you is that in the past, that's what we have treated in various ways. We've either treated it as a general use, or we've treated it as a conditional district. In this case, going forward, I believe that's how we're going to propose new sites in the future. If they were just looking at a general use rezoning, no site plan attached to it, speculative only in the future as to what would be there, we wouldn't be having this question. It would be strictly a rezoning request for that area. But now, moving forward, anytime you have a site-specific plan associated with a rezoning, we're going to request that the applicant seek a rezoning to a conditional district, for example, general business conditional district, because there is a site-specific plan associated with it. And that's how things need to be proposed and processed going forward.
So, if I understood correctly what you just said, that the staff is not looking at conditional district for this because a site plan specific was presented with the rezone request?
There actually was, but again, there was no request by the applicant to do so. He just he requested it for general business only, and he did have a set of a site plan to go along with the property.
Well, my concern would be, as I'm sure staff's aware of, because you guys are the professionals.
Yes, sir.
My concern would be if we GB this property with no conditional use, even though it has an associated site plan attached to it, if that business ceases to operate for whatever reason, then that property has, and I say the city, has lost their teeth with what happens directly across the street from the mall.
Yes, sir.
So, and particularly when everything else is conditional district there, I think that would be an ideal place to make sure that that is general business conditional district, so that the council, obviously we're a recommending authority to the council, so that the council has some ultimate control over what we all see across from the mall. Not that, I mean, I'm absolutely not opposed to the presentation, and I haven't even seen the site plan yet, but I'm sure it's okay, or else you wouldn't be presenting it.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm sure if the site plan's okay, but I have, you know, as chairman, and how much of this I've seen over all the years I've been here, I have a little bit of reservation about approving anything without a conditional district attached to it.
And
But I mean,
and why wouldn't we want to make it consistent with what's around it?
yeah.
You know, if we're going to do the rezoning.
I mean, what's your thought? I mean, is conditional district going to go away or something with this new?
No, sir, it will not. Again, that is,
And the existing applicant, if we approve his, because I know that we can approve down, we just can't approve up. So if we were to approve this request for general business conditional district, and we approve this applicant's site plan, and council does the same, assuming that they agree, then this applicant's free to move forward exactly like he wants to do exactly what he wants to do. But if that use ceases to be there, then we've got some way to regulate a little bit about what happens there in the future.
You are correct.
I mean, I don't know how the board's gonna feel about that when it comes to the decision, but, I mean, does staff have any objection to my comments or
I have no objections whatsoever.
approving something conditional district? I mean, I guess I'm just sort of just curious, was this applicant encouraged to ask for a conditional district or?
Not to my knowledge,
Okay,
Chairman.
okay. Well, I'll be quiet then. But yeah, I mean, if it's conditional district and we approve it and we approve the site plan, the applicant's good to go, assuming that council agrees.
That is correct.
Okay. I'll be quiet.
Any other questions regarding the rezoning of the property?
If there's not any questions or comments or further questions of staff, we would take a motion on this item.
So we can move to approve it GBCD?
You can go down, not up, correct?
So then I move that we approve it GBCD.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Bauer. Does anybody offer a second to that motion?
I second it.
And it's seconded by Mr. Slater to approve item Z4-20 for rezone to general business conditional district. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion carries. One more thing. So let us know in the future as this unfolds if you, as presenting staff, would rather us do these items as one instead of individually. We'll do whatever you feel like is best as we move forward with this.
Sure thing. I sure will. Thank you. We'll move on to the associated site plan. Again, the frontage along Langston is 185 feet. And the frontage on Berkeley is 100 feet. Just under half an acre. The property is currently occupied by a single-story brick veneer commercial building, again, of approximately 1,300 square feet. Submitted site plan indicates a new single-story building of approximately 1,400 square feet. The applicant proposes to use the facility as an automobile service center specializing in drive-through oil changes. A floor plan has been provided which consists of an office, restrooms for customers and employees, storage areas, and 3 automobile service bays. Hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, Sunday, 9 to 5. The maximum amount of employees would be 3. Since the site is located on the corner lot, the required front yard setback for the principal structure is 20 feet along North Berkeley Boulevard and Langston Drive. Due to the narrowness of the existing lot, the applicant states that the proposed facility requires an adequate building area of no less than 1,400 square feet. As such, the applicant is requesting a modification of the front yard setback along Langston from 20 feet to 18 feet. Here's one 24-foot wide driveway cut proposed off of Langston Drive, which will provide access to employees and customer parking spaces as well as 3 automobile service bays. Customers will exit the site through the use of a 12-foot wide paved access drive originating at the front of the facility and terminating at the rear of the property adjacent to the entrance. I apologize for it's hard to make this out here, but anyway, this is Berkeley. Here's Langston. And again, cars will pull into the access drive, which was located off Berkeley here. And they'll come into one of 3 service bays. They'll come through. Once their oil change is completed, they will pull out through the 12-foot wide driveway. They'll exit off the property the same way they came in. Langston Drive is not an NCDOT maintained roadway. However, NCOT has been contacted, and they have advised us that the proposed commercial development, they have no additional requirements for this site. Parking for automobile inspection, repair, and service requires 1 space per working day plus 1 per employee. Total of 6 paid parking spaces have been shown, with stacking to accommodate 9 automobiles for drive-through service. Exterior sidewalks are required for new development and are indicated along North Berkeley Boulevard and Langston Drive. Interior sidewalks are shown leading to the building's entrances through slope walkways and handicap ramps. Their landscaping that they have is in accordance with our UDO and our landscape ordinance. Let's see. As you see here, exterior building materials will consist of stucco, standing seam metal roofs, metal doors, metal copings, and trim. Commercial lighting plans have not been submitted. However, staff will work with the applicant to ensure that the proposed lighting is compliant with the city's commercial lighting plan. The city's updated land use plan designates the property for commercial use. The property is not located in a special flood hazard area. City water and sewer are available to serve the property. Grading and drainage plans have not been submitted. The applicant will be required to submit plans in accordance with city engineering standards before construction permits are released. A concrete pad is shown at the end of the access drive for the location of a commercial dumpster. And you can see that right here. And it will be screened in accordance with city standards and built in a city-approved corral. As previously stated, the applicant is asking for a modification of the front yard setback along Langston Drive from 20 feet to 18 feet. Let's see. So here is the building here. This is the side where 20 feet to 18 feet is he's asking for the modification of the required setback. Are there any questions regarding this site plan?
Okay, there's no
Is
questions.
any improvements, excuse me, for the
That's okay.
DOT? You said that Langston Road was not a DOT maintained. I guess it's a hypothetical thing is the city keeps that up. Is that the way that goes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, our representative that we work with, he's, once again, has said that they have no concerns off of Berkeley Boulevard with that access drive. Interesting concept. I'm not familiar with the Take 5 oil changes, but
Okay, if there's no further questions or comments, we'll take a motion on this item. Going once? Okay.
Second.
All right, Mr. Walston makes a motion that we approve the site plan, which is listed as item 3A on the agenda, along with the requested modification of the front yard setback and subject to staff approval of a lighting plan. That's seconded by Mr. Waters. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
all righty. We'll move to our second rezoning request. Let's see. This property is located, again, along Berkeley Boulevard at the intersection of the Maplewood subdivision. The requested zoning will be associated with the recombination of 2 individual lots as described as follows. Lot 1 there has 200 feet along North Berkeley Boulevard. It is on neighborhood business. Put up one. Here's Lot 1. Lot 2, again, has 100 feet of road frontage. I'm sorry, the first one along Boulevard is right here, North Berkeley. 200 feet. You have 100 feet here lot number 2. The area that is being proposed for rezoning is right here. It's just this area right here. Currently, this area is zoned office and institutional. The applicant would like to rezone it to neighborhood business. Or, in order to locate an above-ground LP tank filling station upon the property. The subject property is currently clear and vacant. The applicant proposes to rezone the subject property from office and institutional to neighborhood business, and if approved, intends to recombine lots 1 and 2 so that a portion of lot 2 can be used for the operation of an above-ground LP tank filling station as permitted in the neighborhood business zoning district. Separate site plan approval will be required in accordance with the city's Unified Development Ordinance. The city's updated land use plan designates the property as mixed use 1 that would allow a mixture of the following zoning districts: office and residential, office and institutional, and neighborhood business. The property is not located in a flood hazard area. City water and sewer are available to serve the property. At the public hearing held on September 21st, the applicant came forward to speak in favor of the request, and no one appeared to speak against the request. Here's the comp plan. So again, you'll see as we move further along in the site plan review, but just for clarification. This property here is office and institutional, of which this is a part of the neighborhood business. In order to have an above ground LP building station, this piece of property right here, the white list, has to be. Once the recombination is completed, this piece will be part of it.
And at this time, that's the existing dumpster pad location for the shopping center, correct?
Yes, sir, the dumpster pad is right here.
Okay, so they're just including just going to include an LP tank in the screened-in dumpster pad area and officially make that dumpster pad area be a part of the property that it services instead of being a part of the neighboring lot.
Right. And it's already neighborhood business on it.
Yeah. Do you want to do this one separately too? We'll do the rezoning. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. We'll
Yeah,
take
I
a
move to
motion on this
approve
item. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a second.
I second it.
Okay, Mr. Bauer makes a motion that we accept item Z5-20 as presented by staff for approval. That's seconded by Mr. Slater. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. The motion carries.
So the associated site plan is site 19-20. Site and landscape plans are associated with the rezoning request as previously presented. The requested rezoning and site plans will associate with the recombination of the 2 previously discussed individual lots. Submitted site and landscape plans indicate that the proposed above LP tank and refill panel are to be located along the new western property line, meeting the required 15-foot side setback. It's a little tough. The equipment will be surrounded by a 6-foot in height chain link fence and landscaped with hollies to serve as a screening buffer. I know that at the council meeting during the public hearing, I think there was conversation brought up as to if this was being proposed with fencing, if the applicant would consider putting privacy slats in the fencing, of which he did say that he would do. Staff is working with the applicant to ensure that a new type A 5-foot wide landscape buffer be provided along the new northern, western, and southern property lines in accordance with the city's landscape ordinance. So what you see here, he's got hollies here, And that's nice, but they just will not, within 3 years, get the height that we need to screen that area. So we're going to ensure it with a type 5 landscape buffer, type A 5-foot wide landscape buffer, as well as a vinyl fencing proposed by the applicant. Property is not located in a special flood hazard area. Due to the nature and scope of the project, the applicant's proposal is exempt from city stormwater and drainage requirements. So again, here is the shopping center. The dumpsters, as Chairman Boyette pointed out, are here. And right there adjacent to that would be where the tank would be and fill panel, with locked access for employees only to refill those tanks when necessary. Are there any questions regarding this proposed site plan? Here's a corner view off of Maplewood in Berkeley. Maplewood being here, Berkeley be going north. Let me turn into one more picture here. Again, as you'll see, the existing 6-foot high fence. The other fence will be where you see this red Toyota, I believe, sitting here. It will be landscaped and vinyl slats will be put in it. Any other questions? There's Tidewater Energy. That is the outfit that would like to have this property rezoned so they can put the tank there in the shopping center. That's it.
Okay. There's no comments or questions additionally for staff. We'll take a motion on this item.
I'm good to go. I move to approve.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. Mr. Bauer makes a motion that we approve item Z5, Z Site Plan 19-20 for Wooten Development as presented by staff for approval. That's seconded by Mr. Waters, and that motion will be, of course, to approve subject to staff approval of the screening and landscaping for the dumpster pad tank area. All in favor of that motion, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. The motion carries.
All righty. And lastly, we do have 3 rezoning requests and an associated site plan. Right there where the old Bicycle World used to be, the property there between Durant and I guess the old cloth barn, there's a commercial piece of property. It's zoned neighborhood business. On either side of it, the property's zoned general business. The property owner would like to have his property rezoned to general business as well to improve the marketability of his property, have a more of array of permitted uses there. The second rezoning request is 1301 Wayne Memorial Drive. That is where the Strickland Oil Company is currently at. The street that off of Wayne Memorial that leads to the Public Works Complex. Right there on the corner, there's a good tract of land there that the owner is looking at rezoning. I want to say to general business, from neighborhood business to general business. And the last one, 316 Belfast Road. As you know, not too long ago, we had a solar farm that was approved along Belfast. This particular site, gentleman is looking at a site-specific plan for a sawmill, commercial sawmill, in order to have the property rezoned from, I believe it's R20 agricultural to I2 general industry conditional district. So these are what are coming down the pipe for the following month. It's a busy time in the planning department.
Good.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Good news.
All right.
All right. That's all. We'll stand adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.